Sex enhancers, CD protectors, sweepstakes machines. Outrageous offers to get your money. A company insider blows the whistle and reveals how this man used his employees to skirt the law. Tomorrow at 6 on Channel 2 Action News. Coverage you can count on.
What are you going to do with this stuff?
eBay.
Stuck with cases of product nobody wants to buy, this would-be ink entrepreneur is one of hundreds who say they got duped by this Gwinnett County businessman. Our consumer investigation coming up. Regret investing with this Gwinnett County businessman. For one, the investors lost millions. For another,
he's a convicted felon in California.
Our consumer investigation coming up.
The deal sounded so good. Work only 15 hours a month, be your own boss, and enjoy steady money. Now complaints and lawsuits are piling up against the Metro businessman behind it all. Consumer investigator Jim Strickland reveals investors are out millions.
Monica, lots of people dream of being their own boss, but those whose dreams included dealing with Nick Morrell now complain of a rude awakening.
I wanted to ask you about some of the complaints I've heard about Holiday Inc.
This is Nick Morrell, and this is Holiday Inc., touted in Morrell's brochure as the ultimate business opportunity.
Pull out my supplies.
Ultimately, Nate Barnes' opportunity wound up boxed in his garage. An investment of $15,950 gathers dust.
So far, it's been about 3 months, and I made about $200.
Based on Morrell's projections, Barnes could expect sales of $200 per day, not every 3 months. A company owned by Morrell's wife would even line up store locations for Barnes racks of Discount Computer Inc. This store sold only a handful in 6 weeks. It's no mystery.
Most of them are old and outdated cartridges for printers that they usually don't use any longer.
So you were stuck with a bunch of ink nobody wanted.
Right. I was one of the last people to come on board to find out that Nick Morrell was up to his scheme.
Distributors coast to coast have emailed us with similar complaints.
How many distributors of Holiday Inc. have you had contact with?
Probably right about 150.
Have you heard from any of those distributors that they're satisfied?
Not at all.
Private investigator Robin Martinelli says she's been gathering evidence for 2 years.
Nobody's made profit. Nobody's even gotten anywhere near the expenses that they paid.
This Holiday Ink comes in generic boxes from a California factory. Future Graphics makes ink for lots of companies. But in his sales material, Morrell doctors the building with a Holiday Ink sign, claiming the factory as his own shipping headquarters.
That building doesn't say Holiday Inc. on it. That's Future Graphics.
Right.
Why did you put
I'd love to
Holiday
have
Inc. on there?
I'd love to. I have a meeting. I'd love to have you come and talk with me at my office.
Can I?
Sure.
Morrell did stop to speak about unhappy investors like Nate Barnes.
Some of these people think you just put these out and then you go pick up your money. This is a business. All businesses need work ethic.
But a Holiday Inc. telemarketing script claims investors can make $30,000 a year working just 15 to 20 hours a month.
Is there anything in that information that's deceptive?
No.
Morrell does leave out one key fact.
Do you think you ought to disclose your past criminal history in California?
Morrell doesn't tell investors he was convicted in California for forgery and grand theft. Records show he fled while on bond and lived under an assumed name. Once captured, he served 5 years in prison.
You lived as a fugitive for 10 years, from what I understand. On the run, isn't that true?
That's it.
If only investors like Nate Barnes had known.
Nick Morrell knew what he was doing. I wouldn't have used him if I would have had one bad reference.
Now, in court papers, Nick Morrell denies any wrongdoing. In fact, in this letter to the Better Business Bureau, Morrell claims Nate Barnes is twisting and distorting the facts. Morrell is facing legal action from ink distributors in Ohio, Massachusetts, Colorado, and Maine. And investors are getting help now from an insider blowing the whistle.
How much money has Nick Morrell made selling these ink businesses?
Close to $8 to $10 million now.
A former Holiday Inc. vice president tells all from the inside. We'll detail that as our investigation continues tomorrow. Also, you heard in that report that Mr. Morrell invited us to come to his offices. Well, he has since rescinded that invitation to an on-camera interview.
Consumer investigator Jim Strickland exposes a big money-making operation and the Georgia man who masterminded it all.
You have nothing to say to people that are out money, sir.
Hundreds of investors claim they lost millions.
My client lost $350,000.
I didn't even make $1.
Now Channel 2 reveals the one big secret about his past his investors never knew. Tonight at 6.
Why do people coast to coast regret investing with this Gwinnett County businessman? For one, the investors lost millions. For another,
He's a convicted felon in California.
our consumer investigation, all new at 6.
That's correct.
Fact is, this man's had a string of dubious dealings from vending machines to computer ink, and investors want answers. Our investigation coming up.
No one has ever had a positive experience in doing business with this Nick Morrell.
An insider blows the whistle about the dealings of this Gwinnett County businessman and the investors who lost their money. The story's coming up.
Channel 2 Consumer Investigation. Would-be entrepreneurs entrusted millions of dollars to a Gwinnett County businessman. Those investors now complain they received lots of promises, but no profits. Consumer investigator Jim Strickland discovered a hodgepodge of failed businesses, all linked to one man.
John, that's right. Nick Morrell's Holiday Enterprises sold investments in computer ink displays and protective shields for DVDs. He also had vending machines that sold sweepstakes tickets and these little packets of sexual stimulant. Now, all these deals, they had something in common. The investors got angry, and the man in charge got the money.
You were supposed to make at least $800 a month off of these.
Tom McVeigh still has the vending machines that were supposed to provide a steady retirement income. This one sold packets of stimulating sex cream for women. This one, sweepstakes tickets. McVeigh says the machines never worked, nor did the investment.
I lost approximately $65,000.
In this sales brochure, Holiday Enterprises president Nick Morrell says 2 billion sweepstakes tickets have already been sold. His pitch for another venture, the Disc Magic, is a mirror image. This time, Morrell predicts $2 billion in sales.
The company sold me a business opportunity to distribute the Disc Magic protection system.
Missouri investor Bobby Figgins sent us home video of what's left of his defunct Disc Magic franchise. He says he sold only a handful. Figgins demonstrated how Disc Magic protective shields can leave CDs and DVDs caked with glue. He says one got stuck in his own CD player.
So obviously this product has a lot of problems.
Figgins says he's out $11,000.
You have nothing to say to people that are out money, sir.
I don't know of any people who don't.
What about Tom McVeigh? He's out $65,000. What about Bobby Figgins? Anything to say to them?
Morrell's current crop of disgruntled investors bought racks of Holiday ink for computer printers. Nate Barnes figures he's out $16,000.
So you've got cartridges for like 4- and 5-year-old printers?
Yes.
Who's going to buy those?
Not too many people.
One day it may be a sex cream, the next day it may be an ink cartridge. But the plan itself is all similar. And the other thing that's similar is that they never seem to work.
Attorney David Hungeling has been fighting Morrell in court for 2 years. Evidence covers a conference table. Hungeling's client is out nearly $400,000.
I'll tell you who is always a winner is Mr. Morrell.
No one has ever had a positive experience in doing business with this Nick Morrell.
Former Morrell employee Patrick Church is now providing testimony to distributors trying to get their money back. Church produced a letter in which Morrell offers a secretary $400 extra per week. She'd have to pretend to be a successful ink investor and just give good, solid references to prospective customers. Morrell then instructs, please destroy this letter.
We have no comment. No comment? I'd get your facts correct.
In court papers, Morrell has denied wrongdoing, and 2 weeks ago, he sued whistleblower Patrick Church for theft and defamation. Church says he's just speaking the truth for investors.
A lot of these people have lost their life savings, put their houses on the line. I mean, it's an absolute tragedy.
Now, Gwinnett police have already cleared Patrick Church of any criminal wrongdoing. The lawsuit against Nick Morrell, filed by attorney David Hungeling, is scheduled to go to trial in January. Federal Trade Commission has examined some evidence against Nick Morrell, but they won't say whether a full-fledged investigation is going on. One final note about all of this. Holiday Inc. is now called World Imaging Products, and Mr. Morrell says he's only a consultant.
Jim, thanks.
Okay.
You have rights under federal law and Georgia law when you invest in any business opportunity. The sellers must disclose any recent felony convictions and any recent bankruptcies. They also have to tell you if they're accused of fraud in any lawsuits filed. And in Georgia, 85% of your investment must be temporarily placed in escrow so you can get some money back if the deal goes sour.
Day at 5 on Channel 2 Action News. Channel 2 exposed an investment nightmare for Georgians. And the local man they say is behind it all. Our camera rolled as police busted him on felony charges.
Any comment on your arrest today, sir?
Consumer investigator Jim Strickland reveals the new twist and the troubles for this local businessman. The whistleblower who said he was scared. And how this judge summed up the case. Today at 5 on Channel 2 Action News. Coverage you can count.
A man featured in a Channel 2 consumer investigation was running an obvious scam. Those aren't our words, they're the judge's words. The story coming up.
A dubious Metro businessman faces felony charges and a multi-million-dollar jury verdict. Victims who dealt with Nick Morrell told consumer investigator Jim Strickland they lost thousands of dollars each. Since consumer investigator Jim Strickland's story aired in November, the case against Morrell has steamrolled. Jim is here with more.
That's right, John. The victims and insiders from Holiday Inc. that we interviewed appeared in a Gwinnett County court case. After hearing from them, the judge went on record saying that Nick Morrell's been running an obvious scam. Morrell's even facing charges now that he tried to dupe the Gwinnett County Police.
A caravan of police cruisers swarms a business complex in Swanee. They find their man in the far office.
Why did you guys stop?
Detectives haul in businessman Nick Morrell.
Morrell, any comment on your arrest today, sir?
It's bullshit. Plain English. And what is this? Influencing a witness.
Morrell is facing felony charges for witness tampering.
It's not just the police department, but the entire legal system that suffers when people come to us and lie to us like this.
Gwinnett police say Morrell gave them false information and false documents. As a result, they mistakenly arrested Morrell's former vice president,
Patrick Church,
who blew the whistle in a Gwinnett County courtroom.
A lot of people, really believed in something that was completely untrue.
Patrick Church worked for Morrell's Holiday Inc. franchise business. He had to deal with disgruntled investors like Nate Barnes of Covington.
So you've got cartridges for like 4- and 5-year-old printers?
Yes.
Who's going to buy those?
Not too many people.
Barnes and others complained they paid at least $16,000, but their Holiday Inc. distributorships were doomed with inferior products.
There's something fishy about this.
Barnes also testified in a case brought by Seattle businessman Alex Salajan, who put $360,000 into numerous Morrell businesses, including sexual stimulant vending machines.
It's just feeling silly and stupid that you got basically scammed.
A jury gave Salajan a $4.5 million verdict against Morrell. Judge Michael Clark declared Morrell's enterprises an obvious scam and declared he ought to face additional criminal charges.
Of course, disturbed that neither the U.S. attorney is in this courtroom or the district attorney is in this courtroom. That's what disturbs this court. Because one of the two should be here.
In fact, a federal agent later appeared in the back of the courtroom. Authorities won't comment, but sources say Morrell's been the focus of a federal investigation for months. Morrell himself is out on bond on the witness tampering charge.
Now, just yesterday, Judge Clark ordered that jury award tripled under Georgia racketeering law. Morrell is now on the hook for $13.3 million. Morrell's attorney says they're disappointed in the verdict and that an appeal is likely. Also, get this, Mr. Morrell himself is suing Nate Barnes, one of the people who appeared on Channel 2, because he spoke out about Holiday Inc. Mr. Barnes says he's just telling the truth.
Wow. Jim, thanks.
Thanks, Jim.